A Zoom call?
Yeah.
Oh, while we're out there?
Yeah, like,
Oh, yeah, with the BA.
hi, people.
No, we should do, oh, you mean on the stage? I could ask if they'll...
My face just like pops up on
yeah.
the big screen.
Hey, we've got Nicole calling in from Connecticut here.
I think they all really just want to see me, though.
could do that.
That's the problem.
This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 81 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
The word is up. Who's not going up in the air today, though?
No. Oh, you're leaving today.
I'm leaving in like an hour.
Yeah. God, I just landed.
You just landed.
Yeah.
Whoa. Catch something on that flight?
I did.
You
On
did?
the way out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
And the whole trip, like, sore throat.
Is that why you bailed on Inman?
No, I didn't bail on Inman. I bailed on Inman mostly because I had no idea I was going to be this far behind when I got back.
I didn't even leave. I feel behind.
I know, it's horrible.
I feel like a never-ending state of behindness sometimes.
But to like land and then repack and then, yeah.
So
sorry, guys. I
anyone
won't be there,
that's-
but
yeah.
you're going to zoom me in.
I'll zoom Nicole in on the stage for sure.
Or at least like you can FaceTime me and let me see all of my fans.
I can do that.
I want to see all my fans.
There'll be at least 3 people wearing Nicole White t-shirts in the crowd. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, they should do that. They should just wear white shirts, and then I'll know that they're my fans.
Yeah, well, I'll count how many people have white collared shirts out there.
Collared.
I'll give,
I didn't say collared.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a lot of white collars at Inman, Las Vegas. Maybe a lot of short sleeves. It's going to be like 110 degrees there.
I'm certain of that. Universal was like blazing, so I can't even imagine.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hot here. We're only in the Northeast.
I'm going to fly out. So Nicole's not going to be with me, which is disappointing because...
You love traveling with me.
I do love traveling with you. That would have been quite another experience to get some good stories out of.
Oh, my gosh.
But no, I don't know. I'm going to have to represent, I guess.
You'll do a fine job. You
And we
probably
will-
prefer it this way anyway, so it's all working out.
At the end of this show, we're going to review those remaining podcasts. We've been promising that are up against us in the Innovator Award podcast section for Inman, which is going to be announced on Thursday. I'm not sticking around for Thursday, by the way. I'm going to go do the podcast talk on Tuesday tomorrow.
I think I saw it on your calendar. Is it in the evening, or do you have a podcast scheduled in the evening?
I have some podcasts scheduled. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what I saw on your schedule. I thought like the actual thing was at like 6:45.
No, I'm gonna do some podcasts. Do a broke agent podcast. We'll get you in on that. We'll zoom you in on that one.
It was so
The
interesting.
broke
last
agent's
time.
gonna be so bummed that you're not there.
I'm kind of bummed myself. I didn't realize he was going to be there.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
We've talked about that.
We may have, but
Now all of a sudden she wants to go.
No,
I'll finish up this podcast. Go. You
can't.
live 5 minutes on the road. Go pack your bags.
Wait, what time are you leaving? Are you leaving right after this?
I'm leaving at 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So right after.
Where are you
we're done
going out
this.
of? JFK?
Yes. I don't think they want to know that though.
Okay. Well, I'm curious.
You're curious. Okay.
Anyway.
All right, let's get into the show. We've got a bombshell of a statement, in my opinion, from a CEO of a top 25 brokerage, Chicago-based brokerage in this country. He's got 2,300 agents he's representing. This is the CEO of Baird Warner, Steve Baird. I hope I'm saying that right. B-A-I-R-D, Steve Baird. Just an absolute, in my opinion, if I'm one of those agents, a shocking statement. And I want to focus, there's a whole, write-up that we could go through in detail. It's an Inman article. We're going to link it up on YouTube as we always do. I don't want to get into that, Nicole. I just want to focus on the statement that caught my attention, which was the buyer should pay the buyer agent. He's got 2,300 plus agents. Again, they're top 25 sales and transaction volume in the country. What do you think? We don't know. We just actually were looking today at some content that we might want to talk about. This one came up and I was just like so sold on talking about this.
Yeah.
Because I'm so curious the temperature of those 2,300 agents right now that are 100% being paid in their marketplace by a listing broker.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you think the temperature is on those agents?
Well, I'd like to think, in all honesty, before he went and did this whole Inman article, I'd like to think that his agents probably already know how he feels. I mean, do you ever keep yourself like people in our office know how you feel, right? Like you would never necessarily go out on like a public forum like that and announce the way that you're feeling.
But when you have a 2,300 agent brokerage, I don't know. I have no idea how involved Steve is day to day. We have a small team, so people are going to hear what
I guess
I'm
I just
saying.
feel like if he's coming out with that bold of a statement, like I'd like to think that probably a majority of his team already knows how he feels. In my mind,
I don't know about that.
And if you don't, then hopefully you're a listing agent.
Here's why I don't know that he's given it that much thought. Because he's commenting on the lawsuit that we've covered.
Right. Well, which is very interesting because I mean, maybe he's just trying to like, save face because of that, because it's going to, it will potentially eventually go in that direction based on this lawsuit.
But what he's saying though is he goes, I don't know. I haven't really read the lawsuit. So, he led that off by saying at the end of the day, people are going to use buyers' agents and they are going to pay them somehow. Not necessarily. They're not necessarily going to use buyer agents. I tell you what, I think a lot more people would use what's at their fingertips, YouTube, Google. They would get the information, they would get the research done to say, you know what, if I've got to pay a buyer agent out of my pocket, or I can go directly to listing agents, let me go and get some research done. There's going to be somebody like us sharing content on what you've got to do, inspections. There's so much content if you are willing to really invest in educating yourself, and they'll go out there and represent themselves.
Right. You know who would be really...
You're going to pay as a buyer agent out of your pocket when you're buying the house?
I think what would be really interesting, and I don't
Some
mean
would,
to like go off here, but it would almost be interesting for us to get a real estate attorney, because I'm curious how they feel about all of it, because I feel like their jobs will change.
And at the Swanepoel Summit, they had an attorney. It wasn't a real estate attorney.
Yeah.
But we did have an attorney talk about the lawsuit, and they were very, we'll see what happens type of attorney talk.
Right, of course, because that's no
But from your perspective, you're talking about a closing attorney, because we're an attorney state, we're not a title state. So in Connecticut, where you have an attorney, I guess you would be a title rep in other parts of the country. How they think this is gonna.
So I guess I can only really talk about what I know, which is with the attorneys. But I feel like their jobs will become.
They would in Connecticut in particular, they would become more. They would become more valuable
and guide. Absolutely, and
not you guys aren't valuable.
No,
I don't want any attorney thinking they're not valuable.
Paid that much either. So, because I think that would
they got to go volume based.
Well, I mean, they just prefer buyers in general. So what a great way to get more buyers, because then they're just making a little bit more money off of their title. But regardless, I'm curious to see what like they're thinking, because it would.
In Steve's defense, he's not saying this is going to happen. He goes, "Are we going to change the way we pay? Maybe, I don't know." But he says, my own particular view is that the buyer should pay the buyer agent and the seller should pay the seller agent. I don't know, how your agents feel about that. But what I do know is that changes the landscape dramatically. It eliminates the need for agents dramatically at scale. Your 2,300 agents look much more like your best 800 to me that can list, can negotiate, can market. So I don't know how much thought he's given it. I'd love for him to expand, or any CEO in the industry that's thinking along these terms of how they see it playing out. Do you think you need less agents like I do? Do you think you would keep all the agents you currently have? NAR doesn't want to hear less agents. So I'd be super curious to get more CEOs speaking out about it. Certainly the ones that are in the lawsuit are not going to. But
well, what's interesting here though too is that, because you're talking about more or less, I think though inevitably, if that's really sort of the way that we head, in my mind, you'd naturally be losing agents, because if you're really sort of a buyer heavy, like you'll just, we've been talking about, I should say you, because you're feeling like buyer agents are little on like the worthless end.
There's 20% of them that are great, and there's a lot of them that are worthless.
Right. Yeah.
And
so they'll just sort of,
Yeah. So I'm sure Steve's a great guy, and I don't think he said this intentionally, but I would hope that he would have a plan. If you're coming out with that kind of statement, you should have a plan on how you're actually going to change the industry, because that statement would dramatically change the industry.
For
All right.
sure.
So I think that's a racket. Anyways, racket number
Such
two.
a racket.
More millennials paying mortgages themselves. They got this.
We got this.
They got it. So if you go from 2018, July 2018,
a year, we're just looking at a year.
There's some huge increases in millennials not needing, for example, somebody to gift them money. So like,
or helping them pay a mortgage.
Right. Or a parent helping them pay, working a second job. So in 2018, they were asked, how many of you would need any of the above: second job, roommate, parents, renting like Airbnb rooms or something, co-ownership. How many of you would need that in order to actually buy a home and get a mortgage? And so 40% of people here in 2019, or no, in 2018, were saying none of those. But now almost 50% of the millennials are saying we don't need any of that help.
Yep.
In fact, the co-ownership goes from in 2018, 14% of millennials saying they needed a co-owner. Now only 7% of millennials.
It's amazing. The numbers are, it's wildly different in just 1 year. I am proud of all those millennials, though, that were willing to pick up a second job instead of take mama's money. That was nice. That was good.
A second job. Well, there's jobs out there, so that's an option.
There are jobs.
You know?
Well, and I feel like in this time, though, too, there's so many second jobs that you can do that are maybe more like you enjoy as opposed to like a 9 to 5.
Working there's opportunities to work from home. There's opportunities to just literally.
Or you're taking the second job in order because you want that second job to become your main job, but you have to have like the income producing job. I don't know.
Or just if you know, hey, the mortgage is going to put me in a position where I can't hit dinner up three nights a week. I can only do it 2 or 1 or something, and I just don't want to give up that type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Go do the Gary Vee thing and just flip crap on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, like what is it?
The
tag sales. Take the crap, flip it, and then you'd have the extra money for that dinner, and you don't even have to get a second job. That is your second job.
Would you participate in that event?
What do you want to flip? I would participate in.
Would you go tag sailing with me?
I would more like the transactional part of it.
Oh, so I'll go to the tag sales and then you'll just upload and sell?
I'll upload and sell.
Okay, cool. I like that.
But you're going to end up keeping everything. You're going to be like, this is like so cool. I can't give this up.
That's not true.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. You'd have to go buy a garage.
No, well, the problem is that all the money I'd make, it would be buying the other stuff. Because I wouldn't, yes.
Yeah, there'd be no profits in our business.
There'd be zero profits in that business. But it would be actually fun to experiment it.
I do think you're going to see more and more millennials, despite what the market does overall, despite what the baby boomers trend is over the next 5 years, you're going to see more and more millennials come into the market because there is pent up demand. And eventually people, especially if they have kids later or whatever, are going to want to get out of the apartment. Kids later is huge. I just want to see the age of millennials. Because it's
I think it's
like 81 to 1981 to
81 to 96. So that's interesting though too. So I was born.
A huge group.
Yeah, because I was born in 81.
You're not a millennial. We're not.
Well, no. Remember that? There's that in between.
You're the in betweener.
That in betweener one. Because again, I think that the age has something to do with it too. Because I'd like to think that by the age of 38 years old, like you don't need mom's help.
If you have kids, that just starts impacting how you make decisions.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, you like, I'm going to save money and rent and be in this cool location goes out the window when someone throws a Lego off your face, right? Like,
right. Or you're actually, but you're also, in all honesty though, too, sort of fast forwarding and buying a house a little bit quicker if you do have a child instead of just sort of floating around renting out Airbnb rooms. I mean, that just sounds sketchy.
That's a quick hit Realtor Mag read. We're going to link that thing up.
Yeah, but I'm proud of you millennials.
And I don't think it's a racket at all. I just think they're waiting longer and they've got a little bit more money saved up so they can afford to do it without the help, some of them.
Yeah,
all right.
Love it.
We're going to get into here in the third segment, reviewing the rest of the podcasts that are up against us in the Inman Innovators Award, which is announced later this week here on Thursday. If you're seeing this video in the first couple of days of it dropping. So what did we already review? You can go back
finished at, so we did
listing bits.
Yep.
We did Gradually Then Suddenly, Kevin and Fred, and we did TF, Tom Ferry.
Yep.
So today we're going to go through real estate sessions with Bill Reiser. Let's start there.
Okay.
Did you listen, Nicole? Did you listen to that one? Billy boy?
Did you?
Yo, yeah. Yep.
I feel like I don't remember him.
He just had Katie Clancy from Cape Cod on. She's William Ravis. Katie's awesome. Katie, shout out to you. Love Katie.
Shout out, Katie.
So he's doing, interviews. He had Glenn Sanford on recently, EXP CEO. So he's getting really good guests.
I feel like I need to hear his voice.
You want to hear it real quick?
Real quick, if you don't mind. You don't have to. It's okay.
Let's do the Katie one.
The voices are the voices.
I'm gonna have to fast forward. I don't know if he does ads. Does he do the ads?
I don't know. I feel like everybody does the ads, and they all sound like they're on.
Oh no, he gets right into it. Katie.
No. He does like a little teaser, and then he goes into the episode.
Well, Katie probably dominated this podcast. Katie's amazing. All right, so he's getting a lot of his style is the interview style, and to me, if you're getting good guests like he is, then you're going to be a win. I didn't listen to every single podcast. There wasn't enough time, obviously, for that.
There's not enough time for any of that. I don't even listen to my own podcasts.
but if you're interested in, like, Katie is running a team in Cape Cod, and she's really good at marketing, and she's good at selling, and so that's somebody. If I'm an agent, I want to listen to Katie for sure.
Yeah.
All right. The next one was Industry Relations with Greg Robertson and Rob Han.
I enjoyed them.
The notorious ROB, by the way. I want to meet this guy.
It's interesting, though, because in theirs, although I feel like maybe you and I are really good about editing ourselves, because in one of the podcasts that we were watching, I think they were giving themselves an award for swearing the most on their podcast.
Haven't been listening to ours.
No, but I feel like we're good.
No, they're actually swearing more. As soon as we walk
off of this, I feel like we're swearing more. I felt like that was a little bit of a challenge. Like I felt like they were challenging me. Somehow.
Nicole's just going to start dropping random F-bombs. So
I enjoyed them, though. I enjoyed the banter. I do prefer podcasts that have two people in my mind, because especially if there's like a good chemistry. I
agree.
I enjoy. So that's why I really enjoyed them. I feel like of the whole list, spoiler alert, like they're my favorite, because it just, I
thought they had the Joe Rogan feel, just hanging out, kicking it for an hour. I love long form, hour-long podcasts. Their last one, episode 37, was actually about Inman Connect, which is this week, and it was their pre-show, so they're going to be up there. I'm looking for you guys. Maybe I can do a podcast with these guys. What do you think?
Well,
you're disappointed you're not going to be there?
FaceTime me.
I want to have every podcast about Nicole on the FaceTime.
Like, here's Nicole again.
Here she is again. She's in my, where is she? She's in my pocket.
So funny.
Here she is.
Yeah. And you're 3 hours behind too. So it's going to be like midnight. I'm going to be like laying in bed. You're going to be like, Nicole.
No, we're going to do 9 a.m. podcast out there. It's 3. I'm 3 hours behind. No, so that wouldn't work.
Right. Anyway.
I got it confused.
But I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting because I did not necessarily scroll up again. I'm sorry. I wasn't overly thrilled with Greg as a solo act.
Oh, Greg,
remember?
Sorry.
Because he's got he has another podcast that's up.
No, they had good chemistry, really good. All right, next one, Scratch That with Emily. I'm the worst.
It's okay. We'll just call her Emily.
That last name? Emily C.
I think she calls herself that now.
Oh, and we should have had it down from listening.
Shenevert. Anyway,
Austin
I
Board
love
Realtors.
her logo.
It's sick. Her website's sick. Logo's sick.
I just didn't.
She's got really good guests.
I didn't.
No, she had good guests there too.
Yeah.
She had Glenn Kelman. So she had Redfin CEO. A whole bunch of people. Actually, somebody, Joe Rand, who's Better Homes and Garden. I was just talking about him on a phone call today, by the way.
A lot of them have these really long intros, too, that I'm learning about that you and we don't have. Because
they're going very traditional podcast.
It's like
where
radio.
They have a lot of times a sponsor, you know, so they're, promoting something off the rip. We ain't doing no promoting. Nobody wants us to. Nobody believes in us enough to promote.
Oh, stop it!
I'm joking.
I believe in us.
Oh, there we go. We got Nicole believing. All right, so I thought that was good. More MLSs should be doing what Emily's doing, right? Providing value back to your people.
For sure. Especially if you really want to start attracting, and I know that Austin is probably more of like a younger age group in general. I do think that if your MLS or your boards want to continue to at least try to attract younger people, that's definitely the way to go.
And the MLSs, they went from about 900 MLSs over 3 years ago, now down to 600. The MLSs that are innovating, that are on the cutting edge, are going to be the ones that are the model for what sticks going into the future. So Emily, props to you on that. Then we had the Voice of Social Sales with Chelsea Peets.
I like Chelsea.
I went for that last name.
So it sounded beautiful.
Heights?
I've been following her on Instagram forever. Sometimes her Instagram stories,
You've been picking up tips from her.
I do.
Beautiful IG page.
Yes,
Check that out.
I love it. She's super informative. Again, like we've stated from the very beginning, I'm not a huge podcast lover. So her podcast was super helpful, but I'm much better at those like 10-second, like 1-minute clips that she
like her
throws
Instagram.
on Instagram.
Yeah, if you're not somebody that can make it through a half hour of content, she is one of the people on this list that has a great IG account.
She's killing it on social for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Then we got the Massive Agent podcast with Dustin Brom. I think Dustin and I are going to do a podcast together.
Have you reached out to him?
We've been talking on Twitter.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like obsessed with his website.
Dude, Dustin, your website is
slick.
Dope.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it because, because I'm not a podcast person, it was super easy for me to go onto your website and then boom, like your podcasts were right there. It was really easy for me to access them and get to them.
Easy.
I wasn't Googling and trying to find them. I'm certain that's probably what people had to do for us.
He's on everything. He's got it on Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart. No SoundCloud, no interest. But
it's pretty pictures. Dope. I'm enjoying it. I don't know that I necessarily like.
Couple of good guests back to back on 81 and 82. Oh, he's right there with us with the same number basically. We just did 81. Or we're on 81.
We're on 81 right now.
We're doing it right now.
So he's winning.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
So he's winning by 1.
So I enjoy visually. I enjoyed the website.
You're enjoying the visuals. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, real estate influencer buzz with Michelle Belisari.
Yep.
Nailed that last name.
Yeah,
Just
you did.
Dominated that.
The only one that I listened to of hers was quick. I think it was like 5 minutes. Are they all kind of quick?
Quick hitter?
Yeah, they're like short and sweet.
She had Bill Reiser on.
Yes,
Ricky Caruth's getting a bunch from.
Some longer ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just listened to the most recent one, adjusting your sales for the second half.
Yep. So that's a quick little tip. So she's not only interviewing people like Ricky Caruth again. He just was interviewing the last one.
Wow, he's a popular guy.
He's very popular. I've followed Ricky on something. He's doing really, really well, dominating agent. But then she's got the little quick 6-minute tips we're talking about in our marketing strategies. How do we get more little 5, 1 minute, 3-minute pieces of content out there? Obviously, a podcast, which is actually what I'll talk about a little bit at Inman tomorrow, is the best way to be able to rip apart little pieces of content because you have it within a 20, 30-minute piece. So, yeah, it's my little tip.
Which was your, do you have a favorite?
I mean, including Tom Ferry, I would say Tom Ferry's my favorite.
Well, right. I guess I feel like that's just like that was a given.
Is that a cheat code?
Yeah, kind of.
Take
Next
him out?
one. I mean, next
so
one.
if I was,
like
I'm really brown. No, I would say Tom's my favorite out of the list. I really did enjoy Greg and Rob's podcast because it felt like I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast. Just a couple of guys sitting back, kicking it. It was really cool, easy to listen to.
Super easy to listen to.
Yeah,
it didn't feel pitchy. I don't like scripts. Sometimes some of the people on there.
Yeah, there was no script.
Sounds like they were reading scripts.
No, some people that are interviewing have their process. Listen, I think everybody was doing a really good job. They were on the list for a reason. And I'm looking forward to meeting as many of you guys that are on this list as I possibly can in about a 24-hour window.
Fun.
Or anybody that is just out there. Really basically there on Tuesday.
Signatures. Like you should bring a book, like a
Nicole wants me to get the signatures of her Real Word fans and then bring them back. This was Jimmy from Seattle. He says hello, and then Sally from Sarasota.
What I'll do? Oh my gosh, I have a stick with my face on it. You should just
I'll walk it. I'll stick it out of my back pocket. Nicole's following me. She's right behind me.
Oh my gosh, right. Such a racket.
We're going to miss you out there.
Oh,
the broke agent's definitely going to miss you.
I'm sad. I've never been to Vegas. I was really super excited about it. I want you to know that. I just.
Yeah. BA.
It's not happening.
You're just dealing with me.
Well, and he probably prefers that anyway.
The BA?
Well, it's better than me videoing him running.
He'll be following me around like a little puppy dog.
Aw, we love you, BA. Although him and I had a great time when we were at Summit.
You guys really hit it off.
We went dancing.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's going, that'll be the next. Are you going to that? Or are you bailing on that too? No. Nicole might quit this show when I come back from Vegas. All right, guys, keep it real. See you next week.
Bye.